Yo, what is happening, Cucumber Squad? Right, okay, so today I'm going to bring you a very, very obscure video. It actually popped up on my feed, and I don't genuinely like to get into identity politics per se with, with the whole how people identify and this kind of thing. But this particular story was somewhat ridiculous to me. This particular person fully believes that they are a wolf. They identify as a wolf. They identify as a woodlands creature. That this is who I am for all intents and purposes. I was born in the wrong body. I'm a wolf. I might not look physically as wolf, but that's sort of where it stops. Everything else about me is wolf-like or is a wolf, right? Now, like I say, I don't really like to get into the identity politics of things. There are a lot of things that I disagree with. There's a lot of things that I can agree with, or I can sort of give way, or we can have the argument. But in this sort of particular situation, I kind of feel that delusions are going a little too far, and certain delusions should not be getting affirmed in any which way. And this culture of just affirming things, like, no, if that's the way they feel, we're affirming things on feelings and we're not affirming things on fact. So it's like this person feels this particular way. And these feelings can actually be interchangeable. They can feel like this today and tomorrow. There's no real rules or guidance to the way they operate in their lives. It's however they want to be is what they are, and then afterwards they come to you and say, this is how you need to see, this is how you need to refer to me, because this is what I am, this is my feeling. So let's get into this and see what this person's got to say.
You may know me from the meme. On all levels except physical, I am a wolf.
On all levels except physical, I am a wolf. Last time I checked, wolves do not speak English. Last time I checked, wolves do not communicate with human beings in the way that you have done, right? Last time I checked, I haven't seen a wolf sort of make a video and post it on YouTube, aside from maybe Wolf Reacts, right? Who might also identify as a wolf. I'm not entirely sure. I should actually ask him. Right? So already off the bat over there, you are doing very human things, but you are saying that only the physical side of me is not a wolf. Everything else is a wolf already. From an emotional standpoint and from an intellectual standpoint, you already are showing that you are not a wolf even in those aspects.
When I first realized that I was otherkin in theory, and I joined a website for it called Wearlist, I wasn't exactly welcomed. I was actually bullied. I was 12 years old. I didn't really understand how to put my feelings into words, and people didn't take me seriously.
12-year-old children will often try and depict themselves as everything, animals, dogs, superheroes. And that's where parenting comes in. That's where good parenting comes in. Where parents are there to actually provide a basis and a foundation and a guideline for children. Children should not at all be given the freedom to be whatever and however they want to be, to do whatever they like and whatever else, because they are children. They do not have a developed prefrontal cortex that can actually, they haven't lived long enough in life. They haven't lived long enough in society to actually know what they are, who they are, what their part in society is, what the purpose of their existence is. They don't know that. They're learning all of that kind of thing. And parents are supposed to guide them. They're supposed to guide them through life because they had lived longer. They had experienced life. They are now wiser. They've got a more developed prefrontal cortex, and they can sit there and sit with their children and say, right, this is the right way, this is the wrong way, this is what you don't do, this is what you are, this is what you're not, essentially. Because kids are very easy to confuse kids. If you can go and affirm the fact that a kid is a Superman and say, no, yeah, you are Superman, you can be Superman, so you can leap off buildings. You're not really going to allow your kid to leap off a building because you know in reality you cannot leap off buildings. You are not Superman. In reality, you can't stick to walls. You are not Spider-Man. In reality, it may be cool to play and it may be fun to play as a dog, but you know you're not a dog, right? You know you're not a wolf, right? Human beings operate and succeed when there are guidelines. But the moment you remove that from specifically children, you remove those guidelines, you remove those rules, and you remove those aspects and say, you tell a 12-year-old, go out and be whatever you want. I'm not going to stand in your way, right? You can be whatever, however, explore whatever you want. You're not being a good parent. You're not guiding your children. You're not realizing that in this world, in this natural order, there are certain things, there are moralities, there are ethics, there's an element of integrity, there is an element of physical and metaphysical rules that you have to apply to your life in order to have an orderly life. And this is why when you grow children up, letting them be whatever they want, however they want, giving in to all of their desires, giving in to all of their temptations without any sort of breaks on that, saying like, it's very good that you can do that, but like, don't. You know what I mean? It's cool to watch porn and it might be fun to watch porn, but don't, because if that becomes an addiction, it only just destroys your life, right? And the thing is that if you don't do that, these kids grow up completely lost, as you are seeing in many cases today, how children are growing up lost because they are just allowed to be whatever they want to be. There are no rules for them. There's no one sitting there saying, you cannot do this. You are not this. You need to be grateful for what you have. The whole world isn't always gripped by something that you have to speak about. You don't have to attach yourself to every single activist movement that you post on Instagram. Activism is something that you actually go and actively do. So if you want to be a real activist, go out and hit the streets with your gumboots as opposed to putting it on social media and thinking that you're changing the world. Right? These kind of values need to be taught and instilled in children, but today it's not. Today it's like, oh, my sweet darling, posted a square of some sort on Instagram. That means, they're speaking out, they're an activist, right? That actually only brings self-entitlement, thinking that you're actually doing something for society, but you really are not, right? And it's dangerous because a lot of people will argue that this doesn't harm anybody. Like, why do you have to tear it down? Why do you have to talk about it? This person being this doesn't harm anybody. Sure, it doesn't harm anybody when it stayed within his quarters, but today it's no longer that. Today, the internet is the public square, and this is being paraded on the public square for everyone and children to see, to say that you can be this. And on top of that, we got parents who are sort of have this nonchalant attitude towards their children and say, you know what? My children can watch anything, be anything, do anything. I want to be the cool friend parent. And that's why it's dangerous.
So in addition to being a wolftherian, some have used the term hacker to describe me. I enthusiastically correct them and call myself a security consultant, but that's kind of my other passion.
I've never really seen a security consultant wolf. I don't know if maybe you guys have seen, I've never seen any sort of wolf involved in any sort of cybersecurity or physical security in any which way, aside maybe from their pack. I guess there is Paw Patrol. It is a dog, which is a descendant from a wolf. So maybe you're onto something.
So physically, I am a British Columbia wolf, black fur, amber eyes, and the reason I know this...
It's amazing how these people talk about this as if it's just this is the reality. Physically, I'm a black Colombian wolf with black fur and whatever else. No, that is not how you are physically. That is how you mentally feel, and it's a delusion. It's unfortunately, and I hate to say this, but people need to call these things out for what they are. It's a delusion, and it's a mental issue. It's a psychological issue that should be attended to. And anybody who actually wants to help this person, you don't help these people by affirming these things. You help these people by saying, I honestly believe that you should seek some psychological help. You do have some issues from childhood, right, that needs to be addressed, and you need to talk to these things about, because this is not normal. And as much as today's day and age, people are trying to eradicate the word normal. Normality in the human race has brought us to where we are today, has brought us to the achievements that we've had today. So I don't believe things like this should be affirmed. Just like you wouldn't affirm a drug addict taking drugs, you wouldn't affirm an anorexic or bulimic person not eating to the point that they harm themselves and then die. you wouldn't affirm those things. Being kind to those people is to say, I need to get you help because I don't want you harming your physical ability. I don't want you harming your mental and your physical. In the same sort of situation over here, is like, I need help. Me helping you is actually, and saying you need to go and see a psychologist, that is not evil.
Is when I dream, a lot of times I am in my wolf form, and I have also had third-party dreams where I've seen myself, and my thought process, I think, is wolf-like. Dreams
are not reality, right? And you cannot transfer what you have in your dreams into your reality. You can't say, well, but when I dream, I'm a wolf, right? Therefore, I am physically a wolf. Unfortunately, your reality is not that. Maybe in the next life, maybe you were given a hard card this time around. Maybe in your next life, you will be a wolf, right? But that ain't what you are.
Obviously, I don't have a machine that can read the mind of a wolf, but based on observed behaviors of a wolf and their response to stimuli, etc., I feel like it very much applies to me.
Well, wolves aren't going around reading each other's minds with machines either, right? So either you are a wolf or you're not a wolf. So now you're admitting that you're not physically a wolf and you're not even mentally a wolf. You're only working on the information that your own species, your own peers gave to you through their observation.
Spirituality is a part of it too. I feel very spiritually connected as a wolf.
I feel very spiritually connected to animals as well, particularly dogs. From a young age, I was very connected to animals, and human beings can be connected to animals and are connected to animals. A lot of people find that they've got a major connection with an animal. I've got major connection with dogs. It doesn't make me a dog though. I connect with dogs. I think there's a spiritual element to that. I'm not taking that away from her, because I agree that you can get a spiritual connection with a certain animal, but that's what it is. It's a spiritual connection. It doesn't mean that it makes you that animal.
I identify as a wolf. I see a wolf and it's an automatic association. It's like, that is me. I don't know how, but that energy, that entire form embodies me. No one wants to be a wolf when it's time to do wolf shit, right? No one wants to think of a wolf like tearing apart a helpless, weak, maimed elk.
This is where I have a real issue with this, is that you cannot sit there and say that you're a wolf, but nobody wants to do, and funny they said nobody wants to do wolf things. No, but if you're a wolf, then you should be doing wolf things. Nobody wants to go and tear apart little woodlands creatures. I mean, I don't want to do that. I mean, that's the one part of the wolf that I don't really want to be. I mean, that's a bit sadistic. Funny that you should say that it's sadistic that the wolves do that. It's not sadistic, it's primal. It's what wolves do, right? And it's what human beings don't do, because they are rational. So when you sit there and say, well, nobody wants to go and do what wolves do, yes, that's because nobody are wolves. Because people aren't wolves, and people don't do those sort of things. But now you're saying that you're a wolf, but the one very unique element of being a wolf, being as vicious as a wolf, is something that you're now saying that, well, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that, right? I want to be this very peppery, fun, playful type wolf that sort of prances around the woods. So if you really were a wolf and that was your mentality, wolf packs would not allow you into the pack. You would be shunned.
You can't have this idealistic, wonderful view of something that isn't in line with reality and identify as that. When I identify as a wolf, I am a wolf.
When you identify as a wolf, you are not a wolf. You cannot sit there and say that other people's delusions are delusions, but your own delusion is reality.
These are very special to me for more than one reason. Somebody very special to me bought these for me at a con that we went to together. And they represent me as a wolf. I have black fur. This is black fur ears, black fur tail. It's nicely made. It was made at a con by somebody who takes passion in making them, by an actual artist who likes doing what they do, versus these cheap, mass-produced tails that fall apart that I bought at Spencer's.
That's where all wolves get their fur and ears from. They go to an artist who absolutely loves making these sort of fur things. And that's where they get their things. Wolves have had endless issues of getting cheap tails from just like these cheap $1 stores that keep falling off. At one stage, the woods was just filled with tails that had fallen off, declipped themselves from wolves because they had purchased them at the wrong place. Wolves would absolutely accept you into their wolf pack.
I'm out in the woods, I am like completely free. Like I can run, I can howl, I can bark, I can growl. I could literally do every little wolf expression and just like release all the caged feelings and emotions.
Yeah, you can do all of those things without being a wolf in the woods too. You can run, you can prance, you can bounce, you can make funny noises, you can do all of that and still be a human being. You like to run in the woods and make noises and scream and dance and prance and... Cool! You're a human being that likes to do that.
Like, there's no one here to really judge me. There's just other animals who would react to me the same way they'd react to another animal. And in fact, you know what?
Why aren't we having discussions around why this is not normal? Because number one, nobody wants to come out and actually say that. And even when they believe that, nobody wants to come out and say that. And number two, when you do come out and say that, you get completely shunned and you get completely labeled by other people because you are not affirming somebody's delusion. Now the crazy thing, and I want to close it off with this. Today's world, people hate the truth. They do not like, they're very, whenever, it used to be called the hard truth. And now the hard truth doesn't sit well with people, right? But that's your cue. That's where you that's where you should actually introspect a little bit and say, what's really affecting you? Because if you are affected or if you are offended by the truth, if you are uncomfortable with the truth, right? You should actually be uncomfortable with the lie, because the lie is what made you comfortable.